Hi everybody, so we're here today to do a vlog that I've been wanting to share with you guys for a little bit, and I just haven't had the time to do it and put together all the information for it. So that's why we're here today. I wanted to do a vlog to tell you what our plans are as far as transitioning Emma to a new car seat and if we're planning on extended rear facing. Before I get into that, I guess the first place I want to start is when I was pregnant with Emma. And I saw on YouTube these videos about extended rear facing and all these kind of stuff. I really didn't watch most of them. I'd watch like a minute or so and I just kind of brushed it off. And I had no intention of extended rear facing Emma. When I was pregnant, and even 6 months ago, had you asked me, I would have said, oh no, there's really no reason to do it. And a part of that was I didn't really know all the research that was out there, and I have older sisters and sisters-in-laws who have kids, and none of them extended rear faced. When, their kids were 11, 12 months old, they got a new car seat, plopped them in the front-facing position, and, that was the end of it. And that was normalcy. So for me, I thought, oh, this is just, mom's overreacting, and, there's no reason to do it. It's not worth it, yada, yada, yada. And that's really what I thought in my head. And I say that to share with you guys that, a lot of times as parents, we might have an idea when we first start out or when you're pregnant that you think, oh, this is the right way to do it because everybody else has done it that way. But it's so important that you keep an open mind and do research, because once I started really looking into it and seeing other moms' vlogs about it, it really changed my mind, and I'm so glad that it did, and I'm so glad that I decided to look into it more. So I hope that makes sense is why I'm sharing that. Because I've completely changed, and it's crazy to me because I never would have thought that a year ago, when I was pregnant with Emma. So to answer the question, are we going to extend rear face? It's a 100% yes, yes, yes. Like I said, I started doing research into it a couple months back, and when I was pregnant, pre-pregnancy and pregnancy, I had never really heard of extended rear facing until I came on YouTube and was watching pregnancy vlogs. Nobody talks about it. I mean, and maybe that's just me and my circle of friends and life and family, that everybody just has followed the quote-unquote normal pattern and never, talked about it. It's becoming something that I'm now seeing more friends talk about, but nobody I knew in my real circle of life had ever talked about it or ever done it. So once I started looking into it, the facts of rear facing, extended rear facing, are just crazy. It's just, I'm surprised that there's not more people who do it and more laws that mandate that you do it. So I'm going to put links below to all of the different websites that I have collected information from. But like I said, as I started looking into this a couple months ago, the facts were astonishing to me of the crazy amounts of safety that it provides for your children. And obviously nobody ever expects to be in a crash, and you try, your best to be a safe driver, but unfortunately there are times in life that it happens. And as a parent, I just couldn't live with myself for knowing all of this information and not doing something about it, not putting Emma in that position because I want her to be rear facing so I could see her face, or whatever the reason is. So some of the facts I'm going to share with you, like I said, I'll put all the links below for you guys to go and check out yourself. But what I've found is that extended rear facing reduces the risk of death in a car crash by 71%, and it's 5 times safer than front facing a child under 2, which that alone, oh my gosh, like you can't just look at that and say there's no benefit to it, because the percentages and the data that they've collected doesn't lie, and that's crazy. So under 2 forward-facing children are if children under 2 who are forward-facing are 75% more likely to be injured in a crash. And that's another huge, huge number that you can't ignore. It's not 20%, it's 75% more likely to be injured. In car crashes, the most common kind of car crash is a frontal crash. So that would be obviously you getting hit head on. And a rear-facing child has the car seat to absorb the shock of the crash force. And if you just think about it in physics, it makes sense. Your car seat is going to absorb the most of the shock, and then that's going to pass through just slightly to them. And there's so many videos, and even on one of the websites that I'll link below, there's videos that compare the force of a crash in a child who's front facing and a child who's rear facing. And the front facing child, oh my gosh, it's so scary, you guys, because you see their whole little neck and body just completely like bend like a pancake forward, like, and you never think about it, but their little bodies just can't handle that amount of force. It's not the same as an adult. So even in car crashes that aren't head-on, if they're like a side car crash, which isn't as common, but that's, again, it's still safer for them to be rear facing, because the car seat again protects the head and the neck and the back from absorbing most of the shock. So that's a huge, huge thing. So in two of the ways that you're going to get hit, that's going to be definitely a lot safer for them. Obviously the question arises that if you get hit, their legs may break, and yeah, that's a possibility, but it's a lot easier to treat a broken leg than it is to treat a broken neck and a spine. So the less evil of the two, yeah, I'd rather have them break a leg than to break a neck, where a leg is a lot more repairable. Extended rear facing, and I found this really shocking, has been recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics since 2002. It's something that isn't always discussed by pediatrics, but it's something that has been recommended since 2002, which, if you think about it, like I said at the start of this vlog, extended rear facing was nothing that I've ever heard of, and nothing that even, you know, anybody that I knew of in my immediate family has ever talked about. So since it's been recommended since 2002, it's kind of crazy that the information is now just really catching hold. Another fact that I found really interesting was, and you kind of know this already as a parent, but in a child's body, their head of their body weighs makes up 25% of their body weight, whereas an adult, it only makes up 6% of your body weight. So that's why in a front-facing car seat, if you get hit front on, their neck and their head are going to be the most susceptible to fling forward and be injured. Their poorly developed neck muscles causes the head to fling forward in a crash. And this is really crazy, but if the spinal cord stretches only 1/4 of an inch, which is a tiny, tiny amount, it's going to snap. So if you think that 25% of your child's weight is going to be in their head and their neck, if they even fling forward just a tiny little 1/4 of an inch, it's going to snap. So like I said, once I started looking into this information and finding all of the data that was out there, I talked with my husband, and we looked at all of it, and there's just nothing that would convince me that the better option is to front face my child. So we are definitely planning on extended rear facing Emma until she is 2. Once we get to 2, we'll kind of see where her body weight is at, and then, you know, we'll kind of go from there. She is such a little peanut pie, and that's another huge reason why, even now, 'cause, I mean, she's just probably barely 20 pounds, which is when, you know, they need to be in a different car seat. I would not feel comfortable with her being front facing. It's just, oh, stop, you're fine. It would just be too scary for me with her tiny little body. And, you know, when you see little babies that are only 1 and they're in the car seat and their little necks are just like all scrunched over, and like, it just never occurred to me before that would be a huge problem if you were in a car accident. So maybe that makes me sound kind of crazy for not ever really putting the two together, but regardless, I'm glad that we've come to this decision and made an informed decision about it. And usually I kind of shy away from like controversial parenting topics. I don't really like to talk about them because, you know, the decisions that my husband and I make, we make, and, you know, I don't really care if anybody agrees with me or does things differently. We just decide what's best for our family. But the reason I decided to share this was because I feel like more moms do need to get out there and talk about it and not feel like you're stupid or paranoid for doing it, because I think most moms just truly don't know the data that's out there about it, and they've just always followed the norm of what everybody else has done. So hopefully this all made sense. I know it's kind of all over the place, but we're definitely going to be extended rear facing Emma, and we're looking at getting her a new car seat within the next, you know, like month. She still fits pretty good in her infant car seat because she's so tiny. But we're looking at getting, for her transitional car seat, we're looking at getting the Graco My Ride 65. So if you guys have any information about it, if you've used it and loved it, I'd love to know. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we're looking at getting that one, which that one goes rear facing to 40 pounds. So I think it'd be really good. I know that there are way better ones out there, but because we do have to buy 2 car seats, I want one that's nice, but not like, you know, we're going to be spending $600–700 on having to buy 2 of them. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them below as a comment. Like I said, I will link hey, I will link all of the websites that I use for this information below, so you can check it out and make your own informed decision. But I think that's pretty much it. You want to say bye? I know you want Mommy's camera so bad. Can you say bye-bye? Can you wave? Wave! No? Alright, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.